The greatest of all time. Lost. Not just lost, he was dominated. He was broken. He was made to look human in a way we haven't seen in decades. John Cena, the man who overcame impossible odds for 20 years, the man who beat every legend, every giant, every monster put in front of him, couldn't beat Gunther. And for weeks, the wrestling world has been asking why. Why did the Cenation leader fall? Why couldn't he dig deep one more time? Why did the man who never gives up, give up? The theories flooded the internet. The debates raged on social media. Fans were desperate for answers. And then, John Cena finally spoke. What he revealed wasn't just an explanation. It was a confession. It was the most vulnerable, raw, and shocking moment of his entire career. Because when the GOAT speaks, when the greatest superstar in WWE history opens up about his darkest moment, you listen. This isn't just about a match. This is about legacy. This is about time. This is about a warrior finally admitting that even legends bleed. The build to the match. Let's go back to where this nightmare began. John Cena announced his retirement tour, one final year of wrestling, one final chance for fans to see the greatest competitor in WWE history step between those ropes. The announcement shook the wrestling world. Cena, the man who is WWE, was finally hanging up his boots. But before he rode off into the sunset, he had unfinished business. 16 world championships. 16. A record that ties him with the legendary Ric Flair. But Cena wanted more. He wanted to be the definitive greatest of all time. He wanted that 17th championship, the one that would separate him from everyone else forever. Standing in his way? The ring general. The impeccable. The Austrian monster who had destroyed everyone in his path for over 600 days as Intercontinental Champion. Gunther. When these two locked eyes, when the match was announced, the anticipation was suffocating. This wasn't just champion versus challenger. This was the unstoppable force versus the immovable object. This was the veteran legend making one last run versus the dominant champion in his absolute prime. The promos were intense. Gunther showed Cena respect, but made it very clear, you may be the greatest of the past, but I am the present and the future. Your time is over. Cena fired back with that trademark intensity, I've ended careers. I've beaten legends. I've overcome odds that would have broken lesser men. Gunther, you're just another obstacle on my path to 17. The stage was set. The world was watching. And everyone believed Cena would pull off one more miracle. The match that shocked the world. Match night arrived, and the energy was electric. The bell rang, and from the opening moments, something felt different. Cena came out aggressive, hitting Gunther with everything he had. The attitude adjustment. The five-knuckle shuffle. Every signature move in his arsenal. But Gunther didn't stay down. The ring general absorbed the punishment like a machine. Every chop that echoed through the arena sounded like a gunshot. Every powerbomb rattled Cena's spine. Gunther was methodical, brutal, and relentless. 10 minutes in, you could see it. The crowd could feel it. Cena was in trouble. 15 minutes in, Cena was fighting from underneath, trying desperately to mount a comeback. The crowd was roaring, willing their hero to dig deep one more time. 20 minutes in, Gunther hit the powerbomb. Cena kicked out. Another powerbomb. Cena kicked out again, showing that legendary heart. But then came the third powerbomb. And this time, the referee's hand hit the mat for 3. John Cena lost. The arena went silent. Disbelief hung in the air like smoke after an explosion. Cena laid in the ring, staring at the lights, processing what just happened. The greatest of all time had fallen. Viewer question number 1. When Cena lost to Gunther, did you think it was the end of his championship dream? Be honest, comment below, ***, the aftermath and silence after that loss. John Cena disappeared. No interviews. No social media posts. No public appearances. Just silence. The man who always addressed the fans, who always showed up no matter what, went dark. Speculation ran wild. Some said Cena was embarrassed. Others said he was injured. Some even suggested that this was that the loss had broken his spirit so badly that he might end his retirement tour early. Week after week, fans waited for Cena to return, to explain, to fight back. But nothing. WWE moved on. Gunther continued his reign of terror. The wrestling world kept spinning, but everyone wondered, where is John Cena? And more importantly, why did he lose? The interview that changed everything then. 3 weeks after the loss, WWE announced that John Cena would sit down for an exclusive interview. No wrestling, no physicality, just Cena, a microphone, and the truth. The interview opened with the host asking the question everyone wanted answered. John, what happened in that match with Gunther? Why couldn't you win? Cena sat there for a moment, his usual confident demeanor gone. His shoulders slumped slightly. His eyes had a weight in them we'd never seen before. And then he spoke. The confession, part 1. You want to know why I lost? You want to know the real reason? Pause, I'm not 25 anymore. I'm not 35. Hell, I'm not even 40 anymore. I'm 47 years old, and my body is screaming at me every single day. The vulnerability in his voice was shocking. This is John Cena, the man who never showed weakness, never admitted defeat, never let the world see him as anything less than superhuman. For 20 years, I told myself I could do anything. I told myself that age was just a number, that will and determination could overcome everything. I believed that with every fiber of my being. He paused, his jaw clenching. But in that ring with Gunther, for the first time in my career, I felt old. The words hit like a bomb. The brutal honesty, Cena continued, and every word cut deeper. Gunther is 37 years old. He's in his prime. He's fresh, he's hungry, he's at the peak of his physical abilities. And me? I've had 15 surgeries. My neck has been rebuilt. My shoulders have been reconstructed. My knees are held together by sheer will and medical technology. He looked directly into the camera. I trained harder for that match than I've trained for anything in years. I pushed my body to limits I didn't think were possible. I prepared mentally, physically, spiritually. I did everything right. Pause for impact, and it wasn't enough. The pain in those words was palpable. Gunther didn't beat me because he was more skilled. He didn't beat me because he wanted it more. He beat me because time is undefeated. Father Time is the one opponent that nobody can overcome. Not me. Not Rock. Not Stone Cold. Not anyone. Viewer question number 2. Has John Cena just admitted what every legend fears? That time always wins? Drop your thoughts now. The emotional breakdown, but Cena wasn't done. The interview dove even deeper. You know what the hardest part is? It's not the physical pain. It's not the loss itself. It's the realization. His voice cracked slightly. I realized in that match that I can't do this anymore at the level required to be champion. I can't go 30, 40 minutes with the absolute best in the world and expect to win. My body won't let me. He ran his hand through his hair, the frustration evident. For 20 years, I was the guy. When WWE needed someone to carry the company, they called me. When they needed someone to work 300 days a year, I was there. When they needed someone to represent the brand on every media outlet, every movie set, every charity event, I showed up. The emotion was building. But now I'm watching younger guys like Gunther, like Braun Breaker, like all these incredible athletes, and I see what I used to be. I see the speed I've lost. I see the power that's diminished. I see the recovery time that's doubled. The crushing truth, and the worst part? The absolute worst part? He looked down, then back up with tears forming. I'm not ready to accept it. My mind still thinks I'm 30. My heart still burns with the desire to compete at the highest level. But my body is telling me a different story. This was no longer an interview. This was therapy. This was a man confronting his mortality, his legacy, and his future all at once. Gunther didn't just beat me for that championship. He held up a mirror and forced me to see what I've been avoiding for years, that I'm in the twilight of my career, and no amount of hustle, loyalty, or respect can change that biological fact. The legacy question. The interviewer then asked the question that made the entire wrestling world hold its breath. Does this mean the 17th championship is impossible? Are you giving up on that dream? Cena's face transformed. The vulnerability was replaced with something else. Fire. Giving up? Did you just ask me if I'm giving up? Pause. I lost a battle. I didn't lose the war. The energy in the room shifted. Yes, Gunther beat me. Yes, I'm older. Yes, my body isn't what it used to be. But you know what hasn't changed? He leaned forward. My mind. My will. My refusal to let my story end with me staring at the lights in defeat. The plan forward. I've spent the last 3 weeks analyzing that match frame by frame. I've studied every mistake I made. I've worked with trainers to modify my approach. I've accepted my limitations, but I've also found ways to work around them. This was vintage Cena turning adversity into motivation. Gunther exploited my weaknesses. My reduced speed. My decreased stamina. My inability to recover as quickly between big moves. He exposed me. Cena stood up, the intensity building. But here's what Gunther doesn't understand about John Cena. I'm the greatest of all time not because I never failed, but because I learned from every failure and came back stronger. Viewer question number 3. Can John Cena actually overcome his age and physical limitations? Or is he in denial? Vote in the comments, **the revelation. So here's what I've realized. Here's the real reason I lost to Gunther, and here's why it won't happen again. The camera zoomed in on his face. I wrestled Gunther's match. I tried to outpower him. I tried to match his physicality. I tried to beat him at his game. He shook his head. That was my mistake. That was where my ego betrayed my intelligence. I'm not that wrestler anymore. I can't be that wrestler anymore. The transformation, but you know what I can be? I can be smarter. I can be more strategic. I can use 20 years of experience to out-THINK opponents even when I can't outmuscle them. The transformation in his demeanor was complete. I've been studying tape on wrestlers who extended their careers past their prime. Shawn Michaels, Undertaker, Chris Jericho. You know what they all did? They adapted. They changed their style. They became ring generals instead of just physical specimens. Cena was pacing now, the fire burning. So when I face Gunther again, and I will face him again, he won't be fighting the John Cena who tries to overpower him. He'll be fighting a smarter John Cena. A more calculated John Cena. A John Cena who knows exactly how to dissect the ring general piece by piece. The promised Gunther gave me the greatest gift he could have given me. He showed me my limitations. And now that I know my limitations, I can work around them. He looked directly into the camera, addressing not just the interviewer but every fan watching. To everyone who counted me out after that loss, I don't blame you. To everyone who said John Cena's time is over, I understand. To everyone who thinks I'll never win that 17th championship, I respect your opinion. Pause for maximum impact, but you're all wrong. The conviction in his voice was absolute. I didn't come back for one final retirement tour just to lose and fade away. I came back to prove that even in the twilight of my career, even with a body that's been through hell, even at 47 years old, John Cena can still be the greatest wrestler on the planet. The challenge, Gunther, I know you're watching this. I know you think you've solved the John Cena equation. I know you think you've ended my championship dreams. His eyes narrowed. But I'm giving you fair warning, the man you beat 3 weeks ago? That's not the man you'll face next time. Next time, you're facing a veteran who's accepted his limitations and turned them into weapons. He stepped closer to the camera. Next time, you're not just facing John Cena. You're facing the evolved John Cena. The final form of a legend who refuses to go quietly into the night. Viewer question number 4. Would you want to see this rematch? Evolved Cena vs. Gunther Part 2? Demand it in the comments, ***, the emotional climax, but then Cena's demeanor softened one more time. The vulnerability returned, mixed with determination. I won't lie to you. That loss hurt. It hurt more than any loss in my career because it forced me to confront something I've been avoiding, that I'm not invincible. That I'm mortal. That my time in this business is limited. A single tear rolled down his cheek. But you know what? That pain is fuel. That reality is motivation. Because I'll be damned if the last image of John Cena in the ring is me staring at the lights in defeat. He wiped the tear away, the fire returning. My legacy will not end with Gunther standing over me. My story will not conclude with me falling short of 17. My career will not fade away with a whimper. The final declaration, John Cena stood tall, every ounce of his legendary presence on full display. I lost to Gunther because I wasn't smart enough. I lost because I was too proud to adapt. I lost because I thought being John Cena was enough. Dramatic pause, but I've learned. I've evolved. And when Gunther and I meet again, whether it's next month, next year, or at WrestleMania, the outcome will be different. He pointed at the camera with that signature intensity. Because the real John Cena isn't defined by physical dominance. The real John Cena is defined by heart, intelligence, and the refusal to accept defeat as final. His final words hit like thunder. Gunther, you didn't end me. You just made me dangerous. You just gave me the clarity I needed to become the final boss version of myself. And that version of John Cena? That's the one that wins number 17. Pause, the GOAT has spoken. The message has been delivered. And the greatest comeback story in wrestling history is just beginning. The aftermath of the interview ended, but the impact was immediate and explosive. Social media erupted. Wrestling journalists called it the most honest, vulnerable, and powerful interview in WWE history. Fans who had given up on Cena's championship dreams suddenly believed again. But more importantly, the locker room took notice. Gunther himself responded via Twitter, adaptation or not, experience or not, when we meet again, the result will be the same. Time has already defeated you, John. I was just the messenger. The gauntlet had been thrown down from both sides. Other legends chimed in. Stone Cold Steve Austin tweeted, proud of you for being real, John. Now go get that 17th championship and cement your legacy. The Rock posted, my brother just showed the world what a true champion looks like even in defeat, you inspire. Now finish the story. The bigger picture, what Cena revealed, goes beyond just one match or one championship. He articulated something that every athlete, every performer, and every person faces eventually, the confrontation with time. We watch our heroes and believe they're immortal. We think legends will compete forever. We refuse to accept that even the greatest eventually face limitations. But Cena did something incredible in that interview. He acknowledged the reality while refusing to surrender to it. He accepted his physical decline while maintaining his mental edge. He admitted weakness while promising strength. That's not just wrestling storytelling. That's life storytelling. Viewer question number 5. Final question, will John Cena's adaptation strategy work? Can intelligence overcome physical decline? Give me your honest answer. The psychological warfare. What makes this revelation even more brilliant is the psychological advantage Cena just created. By publicly analyzing his weaknesses, by owning his physical limitations, he's removed Gunther's biggest weapon, surprise. Gunther can't exploit vulnerabilities that Cena has already acknowledged and started working around. Moreover, Cena just planted doubt in Gunther's mind. The ring general prepared for the John Cena who relies on power and resilience. He studied that version and dismantled it. But now Gunther has to prepare for something different. Something unknown. A version of Cena that he's never faced before. That's master-level mind games. The training montage, described, reports started coming out about Cena's new training regimen. He's working with MMA fighters on submission techniques. He's studying tape of technical wrestlers like Bret Hart and Kurt Angle. He's focusing on efficiency rather than intensity, how to do maximum damage with minimum energy expenditure. He's essentially rebuilding himself from the ground up. Imagine Rocky preparing for Apollo Creed, but with 20 years of championship experience backing it up. Imagine a warrior who's faced every challenge now facing his ultimate challenge, himself. The anticipation is building. The inevitable rematch. WWE hasn't officially announced the rematch, but everyone knows it's coming. The question isn't if they'll face again. The question is when and under what stakes. Some fans want to see it at the Royal Rumble. Others are demanding it happens at WrestleMania, the grandest stage for the potential crowning moment of Cena's career. Wherever it happens, whenever it happens, the entire wrestling world will be watching, because this isn't just about a championship anymore. It's about legacy. It's about redemption. It's about whether an aging legend can truly overcome time itself. The emotional resonance. What makes this story so powerful is how relatable it is. Every person watching this, regardless of whether they're a wrestling fan, understands the fear of aging. Everyone knows what it's like to realize you're not as fast, as strong, or as capable as you once were. John Cena just gave voice to that universal experience while showing that acceptance doesn't mean surrender. You can acknowledge your limitations and still fight for your dreams. You can accept reality and still refuse to let it define you. That message transcends wrestling. That's life. The stakes: if John Cena wins that 17th championship, it will be the greatest comeback story in WWE history. It will prove that intelligence and adaptation can overcome physical decline. It will cement his legacy as not just the greatest, but the most resilient champion ever. If he loses again, it becomes a tragic story of a legend who couldn't accept that his time had passed. It becomes a cautionary tale about pride and denial. Either way, the emotional investment is astronomical. The final message: John Cena's revelation wasn't just about why he lost to Gunther. It was about confronting mortality. It was about choosing evolution over extinction. It was about refusing to let your story end on someone else's terms. The GOAT didn't just speak. He roared. He admitted weakness and promised strength. He showed vulnerability and demonstrated courage. And in doing so, he reminded us why he's the greatest of all time. Not because he always wins, but because he never stops fighting. The real reason John Cena lost to Gunther? He was fighting a battle he couldn't win, the battle against time using the weapons of his youth. But now he's fighting that battle with the weapons of wisdom. And that makes him more dangerous than he's ever been. The greatest comeback story in wrestling history is being written right now. The final chapter of John Cena's career is unfolding before our eyes. And when he finally stands in that ring with Gunther again, when he adapts every lesson, when he uses every ounce of that legendary intelligence, we'll discover whether legends can truly overcome time, or whether Father Time remains undefeated. The GOAT has spoken. Now we wait to see if he can deliver.